Hi everyone! Say hi, Stubbies! We are going to talk to you today about quarantining, if I could say that right, and why you need to quarantine your new cat or kitten. And Stubby and I are going to have some little snuggle time while Mommy does this, right? Yeah. So, it is a critical step in bringing a new pet into your household to keep everybody safe and healthy, and unfortunately ends up being one of the biggest frustrations for at least the breeders in the LiLNudists network when we advise that to adopters, and we have a kitten go home instruction list on the website and instructs exactly how to bring your new kitten into your home and how to quarantine and why, yada yada. And the kitty will go home and the breeders will check in and, hey, how's your kitten doing? And then the people will respond back with a picture or a message saying, oh, it's good, but the other cat hissed at them or whacked them, and they're not getting along so great yet. And we're just like, hand to head disease because we've gone over and over and then people don't listen. And it's frustrating because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous practice to bring a new pet into your house and not quarantine. And it doesn't matter from what cattery, no matter how great the cattery is, if it's from a family friend, if it's from an animal shelter, if it's from the street. I mean, most people, I think, would think like a cat from the street, they would quarantine. They wouldn't want around their other animals. They would think maybe it would, have something. But when it's from like a established, sorry, the video's cutting my head off, but that's okay. My hair's not that great anyway. When the kitten's from an established, nice, clean, professional cattery like LiLNudists, people, I guess, kind of just don't have that worry, so they think that it's not that really important and that big of a necessity. But it absolutely is. And the reason being is that it's a very stressful time for both animals is the number one biggest reason. It's very stressful. Your new kitten or cat, if you're adopting an adult cat, has never gone through anything as stressful as that period in its entire life. Like, especially, if you're talking a 3-month-old kitten, they went from 0 to 3 months in the breeder's home, only ever being around their mom cat, their siblings, and your breeder and your breeder's family, maybe a family dog, pet, or whatnot. But that's it, and they made a few vet trips, a few little car rides to the vet, and one big stressful thing, a spay or neuter surgery. But none of that compares in kitty world to this big traveling home, especially if they have a long car ride to get home or an airplane flight to get home. So your kitten's at its most stressed out, most vulnerable point that it will ever be in your life, in your home, unless, of course, something crazy traumatic happens in your home, or if you move again, if you move in the future. A move is the biggest stress thing to a cat. Cats don't, in general, adjust very well to changes. These cats, hairless cats, do much better than most other cats. I wouldn't say necessarily other purebred breeds, but especially like your domestic short-haired cat, they don't adjust well at all. These guys seem to adjust quite a bit better, but still, it's stressful to them. And so you got new kitten over here, super stressed out. And then you got Stubborn, your resident cat, we call them, or cats, and suddenly they're really stressed out because they're like, who is this? What is this? Why is this new thing here? It's going to be a big adjustment for them. cats are not pack animals. You know, people tend to overlook that or forget that or just never think of it. You know, dogs in the wild live in packs, and cats in the wild, they don't naturally live in packs. You may see cat colonies, but everybody still has their own little territories. You know, even like where I was living last year, huge feral cat population there, but they were all very well cared for in the community, spayed, neutered, you know, and purposefully like spot fed. So that's why you see groups of them together, is because they're spot fed. Otherwise, you know, they wouldn't even really ever be together like that. They just wouldn't naturally in the wild. But even still, you know, I had like certain cats that lived in my bushes over here and like under my house over here, and another one's under the neighbor's house there. And you could always know where the few cats were going to be. And these two were like kind of the park cats, and they weren't really together, you know, unless it's a mom with babies. They don't do that. So cats are by nature more territorial, and it's a big deal to them to have a newcomer come in. Even if it's a baby kitten does adjust in easier than an adult cat to another adult cat. But it's tough for them. Cats don't want to share. They don't by nature want to share. They don't want to share their resources. That's their water, that's their food, that's their home, their space, their cat climber, and especially their litter box. It's just not natural to them. So you got stressed out kitten coming from a long trip home. You got stressed out resident cat or cats. So everybody's completely stressed out. So the last thing you want to do is take this kitten, drop it in the middle of your living room, let it out of its cage, and let it go. Because now everybody's even more stressed, you know, and possibly a fight could break out. I mean, there's lots of things that could happen. And, you know, that initial, just like meeting a person for the first time, you know, they say first impression is everything. That's really true with cats too. We've seen times where if that first introduction is bad because they weren't given enough time, that pair of cats may literally never bond as close and as well as they could have otherwise, just because it wasn't done appropriately. So it's very important to do the quarantine process and do it appropriately. So, you know, the big main point is to think of their emotional well-being. What will help them be less stressed is to take your new kitten and you put them in a spare room. A spare room, a spare bathroom, a spare laundry room. All those things work. You know, you put them in there with their water, their toys, their bed. You know, you feed them in there, and you try to keep everything for your resident cat as typical as usual. So, like if I were bringing in a new kitten right now, they would go in my downstairs spare bedroom, or the office / Gary's room. Sorry, Gary, you'd get the cat. But anyway, and Stubbins' routine wouldn't change. He could go on the porch like he does, be around the whole house, and sleep with us at night. You want to keep that part the same to keep the resident cat as low stress as possible, because the new cat, it's already going to be different no matter what, no matter where it is. And so you leave the new kitten in its separate area for a period of 7 days. 7 to 10 days is what we say. 7 days is really